Hello, everybody. I'm Will.
And I'm Kristen.
And this is So I'm Watching Feud, Capote versus the Swans. Season 1, Episode 1, Pilot. So elegantly named Pilot.
The first season was, too. It's weird. It's like, you're doing a limited series.
I get it for some shows.
Well, I get it for, like, a regular show, but it's a limited series. You're only doing 8 episodes. Fucking name them, man.
Is there only 8? Wow.
Yeah.
I knew nothing about this going in. I was aware of Capote conceptually, because Kristen had to fill me in on who several people, including Harry Truman, were.
Well, no, I mean, like...
I know the name, but I mean, at a certain point,
yeah.
like, especially, like, old white men's names from 50 years ago.
Okay, so Rachel and I were watching something. What was the most recent live thing that we watched? Not Maisel, but it was something like a kind of a period piece, and we straight up did not know that we had a President Ash, I think. No, but it's like Arthur something, and I was like, no word of a lie, I would have failed that polygraph test.
I can go back to Nixon, and then before that, I'm like, George Washington.
Even still, like... I'm not 100% of the order in there. So it's very, yeah.
So I was aware of Capote. I didn't know he was a writer. And
okay, it was the Gilded Age. Sorry, yeah.
And I suppose that makes as much sense as anything.
That he was a writer?
Sure. Because I mean I knew he was a fruity.
Oh, like just a little queen.
Yeah. So I mean I got that, and yeah, I don't know who any of these women are, but
no, I don't know any of them like by name. Except for Rockefeller.
And this is all real?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, like, the Esquire article is real. And it did kind of hasten the ruination of his life.
Yeah, so that's
like, he's not doing amazing on his own, but, like, this didn't help.
Well, that's sort of where I'm at, is I'm sort of like, I don't understand what your game is.
Especially at that point, because I guess it was, like, 1975 when the article came out. I was, like, looking stuff up a little bit.
We're dealing with the multiple timelines, which I think the first season did as well, and it's the kind of thing that, like, in the moment, I'm like, okay, cool, got it. But as far as recapping goes, I'm like, fuck if I know. We were in 1984, we were in 55, we were in 65, and like 74 maybe. Yeah. I'm not sure.
So it's like, I think there was a 68 in there as well. Regardless, the article came out in November of 1975, and it was about a meal they had at that restaurant. It's called La Côte Basque, 1965. So, although Wikipedia makes it seem like it's presented partially as fiction, which was kind of his deal. Like, that's kind of how In Cold Blood is as well, where it's, like, sort of fiction, but it's based on a real murder.
That kind of shit. This is fucking Jughead Jones again.
Yeah.
I learned how to write.
Well, so there's, like, because it also says some of them are named under pseudonyms, but he uses the real names of some of them as well.
I don't know. So basically, we meet him in the 80s, looking at the Swans, gazing listlessly, a combination of the two.
Spoiler alert, that's very close to his death.
I imagine. And then we go back to meeting he has with Babe, who is Naomi Watts. Yeah. And they are close friends. And at one point we flash back to not when they met, but I guess sort of when they cemented.
It was when they met.
When they met?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because she's like, I've heard of you, but I've never met you.
Right,
and and it's her husband, incomparable and sadly deceased Treat Williams, who thinks that he's Harry Truman.
I'm gonna lie, or I'm not gonna lie, rather. I'm gonna be honest. I relate a fair amount to Capote.
Sure.
And I'm just sort of like, why are you doing this? Like, why are you doing what you're doing? I would never.
Like in 1975, why are you doing what you're doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like befriending all of these amazing women 100%, but then like, why are you airing their dirty laundry?
Yeah.
Like, that's the issue.
I don't know. I don't.
Especially like dirty laundry, literally. Like, because let's pour one out. I guess, I mean, I don't know. She wasn't dead at the time, but like, Happy Rockefeller really fucking did it.
She let's just say she left a mark.
She left a mark.
I want more. I kind of wish that was Christina Hendricks. Like, I kind of...
Right? Well, she's redheaded in real life, but on the show, it seemed like she had brown hair.
But basically, so he comes over to Babe's house, and her husband is Treat Williams, and who is he? Is he a politician?
No, he runs CBS.
Oh, okay.
That's what, and also
because the television station.
Yeah,
okay.
And so like their last name is Paley, and I looked it up, and so like Paley Fest, the like TV and like entertainment thing that they do every year, where you get whole casts of TV shows together to just like do panels and stuff. I'm pretty sure that's named after them.
And so basically, her issue is that because she literally said like that part of their marriage has been like over for a while, so she, for the most part, doesn't really care whatever he does. She just wants to be like left out of it.
Well, it's also it's the thing we always talk about where it's like, okay, sure, cheating is wrong, but it's like not the worst thing you can do as long as you're being discreet about it. But he's not being discreet about it. Happy Rockefeller is coming to their apartment the day that Babe returns from Paris.
Like it's the governor's wife.
And it's the governor's wife.
Some floozy.
Well, it's like, the thing is like, I think she'd even let the governor's wife part of it go if, like I mentioned in our watch along, if you'd like to watch along,
there's a lot of...
yeah, we don't. It's not not really reaction heavy, but when we did react, it was good.
We're really into the style and the food.
Yeah. But the thing is like I think she could have even forgiven the like status of the mistress if, again, like I said, get a fucking hotel in Brooklyn. Like, just don't. Why are you fucking at the house? Take her to the plaza, even. I mean, that's in Manhattan.
We need, what's his name? Daisy's husband, Great Gatsby, Tom.
Oh, Tom, yeah.
What's his name?
Buchanan.
Okay, I knew.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't say that. I can't expose how wrong I am.
No, Buchanan.
Okay. So, yeah. So, Happy left a mark.
I love the, like, synergy of the timing, where it's like, she's like, let me come over. And he's like, no. And she's like, but I really think I should come over. And it's like, she's like, because I'm bleeding profusely and I want to get it all over your wife's bed.
Your white sheets.
Hilarious.
So he's already, well, like I said, we're jumping around. So we jump to him like meeting Babe and all of that.
In Jamaica, they just like, he's just like invited on this ship to Montego Bay.
And
which is, I mean, that sounds like the thing is there's certain if time travel was ever invented, there's certain places I would go at certain time periods, and one of them is like like Cuba and the Caribbean in the 50s and 60s. Like, imagine.
So he is already an established writer. And he absolutely is a jester because he
In Cold Blood and Breakfast at Tiffany. In Cold Blood has definitely come out. Breakfast at Tiffany's maybe not yet.
Because he tells everybody that he's just met at dinner that Anne killed her husband.
Demi Moore.
Yeah.
Woodward.
Do we think we're gonna get? Because I mean, is he a reliable narrator? Do we think we're gonna get like the truth of that story?
I don't know. Especially not now that Anne is dead.
Well, because they also reenacted it like 3 times. Like
different
we saw
ways,
different versions of it.
No, and I think that's actually part of why he has like the truth of In Cold Blood has been questioned. Because it's like I said it was like the first true crime novel, but it's sort of like embellished nonfiction. So it's like not 100% true, and a lot of it is like through his interpretation. It's just like the one guy said, he's an amazing storyteller, but he's not necessarily known for his truth telling. It's not like he's outright lying.
Well, and I mean,
to my knowledge,
both my brother and I say never let the truth get in the way of a good story, but like you can't be doing that at the expense of contemporaries, other people in the room with you.
Certainly not your friends who you have made to trust you.
Doesn't know the meaning of the word. I couldn't. It couldn't be me. And so I guess that's probably the point. Like, I'm probably having a very earnest reaction, but I just kind of hate him. Like, I'm just kind of like, because you even joked about in our watch along where you were like, I feel like we're going to get some like old timey slurs. And I kind of couldn't wait for it because I'm like, he's giving me needs to be taken down a peg. And And Demi Moore landed it beautifully. Not her first time is all I'm gonna say.
It was good. It was solid.
But so he goes to
solid, like really hitting all of the correct consonants the right way. Like
so he goes
not like
to
a
lunch.
really hard T, but like an appropriately hard G.
He goes to lunch, he goes to the bathhouse and meets Russell Tovey, and he goes to the bathhouse after his presumably like
partner, long-term partner.
But they like it feels like the relationship is on the way out, but not over yet.
No, I mean, spoilers, like, if this is real stuff, real people, they were together until Truman Capote died.
Okay.
So I think he's just like, he's had enough for right now.
Yeah. And so he goes to the bathhouse and meets Russell Tovey, who is a
sexual sociopath. He literally says
he likes to pop it off.
He's like, I like to nut, and I don't care who does it to me.
9 times. I'll say it. That's too many times. It's too many times to go home and eat dinner and then do it again. I don't know if I'm putting too much out there, but letting you know what you're gonna get. But then he like hires him as his manager, playboy.
It apparently was a bad decision in real life as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then they set it up really well. Because I was like, this is not a good idea.
Seems super suspect.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the women are right. He apparently just like tries to hard take over like everything. Yeah.
I mean, as maybe he should, because Truman doesn't have it on the rails. So
I mean, he doesn't have his personal shit on the rails, but like, I mean, he's got that nice apartment and a hot piece for a boyfriend.
Yeah.
I love that guy. What's his name?
He was in American Horror Story.
Joe Mantello.
City. Yeah,
he's a silver fox.
He was one of the few things that worked with that.
Well, it worked, but we also kind of hated his character. He was very sanctimonious.
Yeah. Which is a lot for
a Ryan Murphy
AIDS metaphor.
Yeah. Fucking get off your pious high horse, man, please.
For to suck a dick is to drool. I have read so many of the reviews trying to find that quote from Jacob Clifton.
Yeah, me too.
He like took Ryan Murphy
to
task in one of his reviews, I think for American Horror Story Apocalypse, and it was so good.
Okay. It was for Apocalypse for sure. I've had this job that I have for like 2 years now, but I just went permanent. So I'm like an actual employee of the company and it's great. But I am included in a lot more meetings now. So I'm having a lot more FaceTime with some of my coworkers that I haven't had before. And I think I've mentioned before, a lot of them are not from America. They're from India. And today I was like, well, I can't go to this event that they're having tonight because I already had plans. This is my plans. You're very welcome. And I was like, yeah, I was like, my friend's coming over and we're going to watch Feud. I was like, it's like season 2 of Feud. It's like a Ryan Murphy thing. I was like, do you know, like American Horror Story? Shaking the head. I was like, what about like Glee? Shaking the head. And I was like, what must it be like to just like have no knowledge of this menace to society? And I was like, it sounds breathtaking. Amazing.
And he famously handles criticism well, so this will go over like a lead balloon.
Ryan Murphy's not gonna watch this episode.
Not right now. Wait until my article comes out.
I'm gonna tag him in this.
So, anyways, Anne confronts him, lets him have it.
Yeah.
And then what happened?
I mean, it's kind of a lot. It's like sort of in and out. Like he in the 70s is really kind of like tanking. He's doing a lot of drugs. He's drinking a lot of alcohol.
Well, what brought out...
He can't write.
Yeah, what brought out the Esquire article?
John O'Shea, Russell Tovey, was like, those women at this lunch, that's...
Oh, right.
You think you don't have it anymore because you don't see what's right in front of you. You have to write about these women. Yeah. And then he does.
Yeah. And Babe is really upset.
I mean, her fucking shit is, again, it's the respect and it's the humiliation, because even though he says it at that lunch where John is there, where it's like, just because I'm cheating on my partner, like all of your husbands cheat, you don't say jack shit about it. And they're like, that's not the issue. The issue is that you're trying to put him in charge of your like stuff. And so it's really the same, where it's like, she doesn't necessarily care that William or Bill is cheating. It's that now it's been made public. Everyone's whispering about her at the restaurant. She knows they are. When she sits down with Slim, she's like, they're all talking about me. I cannot handle this.
Now, okay, so Slim is...
Diane Lane.
And who is she?
I don't know who she is in history.
And then Chloe Sevigny is...
CZ Guest.
And she grows plants.
Yeah. And one time, Prince Charles gave her a courgette. And that is not a euphemism.
Zucchini.
Yeah. He literally gave her a zucchini. Imagine if we had just let Prince Charles grow his vegetables. It's one of those things where I'm like, imagine if we just let Hitler paint his paintings, paint his bad paintings, and just left him alone. Some art school professor was like, these are terrible, Adolf, and he was like, well, okay.
Eddie Izzard bit. I can't get the trees down. I will kill everyone in the world. We need to watch that. So, and then Anne kills herself with cyanide. Beautifully
framed.
Shot. It was directed by Gus Van Sant.
Boy, was it.
A lot of Dutch angles in a good way.
And then also the close-up of the hand job shot was very My Own Private Idaho.
I just like, it was so curious because the way, watching the shot, because we're getting the narration.
I think he directed the whole fucking season.
Sweet.
No, okay, the first 4.
Okay.
Still, that's... And then 6... Oh. Okay, so he directed all but 1 episode. What a weird thing.
So we're getting, like, the voiceover that she unalived herself, and there was a part of me that was sort of with cyanide, and I was sort of like, oh, are we gonna see it? And I was like, that feels a little untoward, but it was
far enough away. It was
and it was like our relationship to her, and the Demi Moore of it all was just like that scene kind of encompassed the entire episode in a nutshell.
Plus, I imagine we're gonna
just a little bit of it, and then it does cut away, and I was like, ooh.
I also imagine we're gonna see her again, like because we're still. I think we're gonna still cut between timelines.
But it just it was the moment for me where I was like, ooh, this is giving me just and actually this fits in well with the whole like. Cold Blood being considered the first true crime, like there is a element of it's not Schadenfreude, but like
sort of
the gory details.
Yeah.
When you're dealing in this kind of stuff, you kind of secretly crave a little bit of that.
Yeah.
And especially the juxtaposition with the beauty. And I was like, okay, this is what I'm here for.
I love, too, that I think this is going to ping that thing that we like so much from Gossip Girl, where it's like, because honestly, like, Slim literally says, she's like, we're closing ranks right the fuck now. Like, he's done this to you. There's nothing to say he won't do this to the rest of us. He's out. He's not invited to dinner. He's not invited to this. He's not coming anyway. He is out on his ass. Which, like, again, why would you do such a thing if that you have to know that's the risk? But I mean, maybe that's what you got too many benzos in your system and you don't know what the consequences are.
So, yeah, that's my thought. Certainly, my initial first time thoughts after watching the first episode.
Yeah, we have not yet met Callista Flockhart or Molly Ringwald, but I suspect episode 2 we will. So I'm excited. Callista, for my money, Callista Flockhart and Chloe Sevigny do not work enough. And I think that, I mean, Callista Flockhart doesn't need to, but
I think that's part of it, and
she's got that Star Wars money and that Indiana Jones money.
I mean, I was all for season 1 of Supergirl, but that.
Well, then they were like, we're going to start filming in Toronto. And she was like, no.
Oh, bye.
She was like, bye-bye.
You get 1 episode. Because remember for a while, we were like really like gamble or like bargaining. Where we were like, maybe she'll come back like a couple times a season. No, never again. So, all right. Let us know what you think. And like and subscribe. That's the part that helps us out the most. Especially the subscribing. I just started subscribing to things for whatever reason I never did. And now I'm like, that's the part that we need to get the things.
I have a handful of subscriptions. Sometimes I still watch that that food channel that we found where they do like the contests and stuff. Yeah.
So, okay. And we'll be back in a minute.
Bye.